Hello, everybody. This is Jason Ugartechea here in class 4841, week 2, Excel report. I have a chart here I call flow motion. Kind of named it, because it's got quite a bit of motion in it for body movement and speed miles per hour. It's pretty crazy that we're spinning at 1,037 on just the Earth's rotation, okay? And then 6,700 for the orbit. And then for our solar system, we have 130,2,500. And then Andromeda galaxy, which is somewhere we'll probably never ever be able to go to, is spinning at 250,000. And then we got the Milky Way, and then the local group. So that's a lot. Oh my gosh. And that's just what we're able to record. That's the only information we have up to date, The local group, look at this graph. The local group is enormous. And we think just the information we have right there is enough to put on a chart or something, and it's not really a whole lot at all. So we'll have to check on that. I actually chose on the universe tool, I decided to pick that I thought the elephant was the most profound thing on there. I chose elephant because they're mostly peaceful giants as well as respected landmass animals with only 3 remaining species alive up to date. I got that information actually off the scale here, as you can see the elephant scale. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, the Scale of the Universe tool is very fun, very helpful. I think it puts our universe into perspective from Alpha to Zulu, not just on a time scale, but on an infinite scale, providing information not seen by the naked eye. To make a complete rotation, given the information on the chart here, and for a 24-hour period, you would have to be moving at 1,000 miles, maybe a little bit over, to make that rotation. I believe that I believe that measurement is the key to all things. The measurement from A to B could determine C with the given properties and values. Here on Earth, we assume that certain values are set without taking into account of larger scale values. That being said, even the smallest values can be seen on a scale through a microscope, and even that little bit of value can make a difference on a grand scale. And here we have the body movement speed right here, and it shows all the locations for the numbers here for Earth's rotation, Earth's orbit, solar system. It's just broken down on a different scale here, as you can see. And here we also have the scientific notation. It's great for working with large numbers to smallest numbers. It's used to simplify equations for professions that use them daily. Scientific notation is very important on a scale because the slightest miscalculation of a 0 can be the error of thousands, even millions, or greater. Here for number 2, we have the unemployment rate and percentages during the years of presidency for Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr. No, I'm just joking. Anyways, basically, we're trying to figure out what's going on with these rates. They're wondering, is it misleading information? And, what's going on with it? I believe that, these reporting misled information is very important because it allows a filtering system to work in papers, magazines, and internet, and in television, as well as radios and books. Graphs can be designed to put information in perspective. Some graphs have data in a graph that isn't true in comparison to other data. The graph axis makes a big difference because it shows progress of data on the chart from A to Z, 1 to 10 at a port origin. I measured the Ugartechea graph. Well, first of all, basically we checked the percentages on 2 different scales here, and the first one showed us that the Clinton years was much greater than Bush, but then when we reworked the data, the Clinton years came out just about even leveled with Bush. So, and here we have another scale where it shows the bowlers, Diana, Hilda, and Emily. On the information given, we were able to come up with a scale and comparison of scores, and it showed that Emily was much higher than Hilda, and Diana was in between. But after reworking the data, we were able to see that Diana and Hilda were actually pretty close, and Emily still had the edge on both of them. So, and some people or companies put into circulation misleading information, also known as a misuse of statistics, that has an incorrect end result. Stuff that isn't true. Normally, they do that for monetary gain, notoriety, especially on the internet. Our generation is a generation of adware, spamming, and ads that are not always true. After looking over these few problems in this assignment, I feel that this assignment has pretty well opened my eyes up so far to the misleading information industry. I will, from now on, read and check the statistics as well as the online research use of multiple sources before I decide to make, well-informed decisions. And here we have on the bottom left here, we have the arena funding by percentage. You can see that the contributors and U.S. dollars in millions are noticed to the left side. For the city, $265 million, and then we have 10 million and then 85 million. And the AEG is set at 50 million. So what we did is we just broke those numbers down, put them on this chart here, to where everybody can see just how much everyone put forth in funds. So you can definitely see that the city put forth quite a bit of money on that. You can also see here that we have a percent sales pie chart set up here, and it shows that the company ACC.PAS was at 24%, ACC.TF was at 16%, and ACC.SAN was at 15%, ACC.GAS was at 13%, and Otros was at 9%. ACC.GAM was at 23%, and then we have the Ugartechea graph, which allowed us to be able to really get a look at just exactly how much area or percentage area that the Ugartechea took up. So what we did is we went ahead and we got a shape. We used the shape tool on here. We inserted a circle in and got it to where it's proportionate size, and then we measured the radius on it, and then that's how we got the information to check the Ugartechea graph. In here now we have a Venn diagram of Americans in the millions, percentages, and then the given sections, numbers of Americans in the Venn sections, and the percent of Americans in the Venn sections. So we have obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes and obesity, type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, or obesity and high blood pressure, or type 2 diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure. From what we can see here is that the population is around 326 million overall in the U.S. The data is just enough to break down into 3 categories of being obese, being a type 2 diabetic, and having high blood pressure. Depending on how many categories you're dealing with a percentage or a number to be placed each circle in overlapping area, the average of the 2 or 3 in percentage. The probability of having all three, as in type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity, is set at 81%, with only 0.9% having diabetes and obesity. The other, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, is also at 0.9. The third is obese and having high blood pressure is set at 16.1%. And having all three is at 8.5, with a 25.5 percentage of the population. The population of Arkansas is right around 3 million. When speaking of a group regarding demographics, people would use the phrase less likely when comparing the West to the South, where there's more obesity estimated. And here we have the height of Army recruits in inches, and also the height of random mall shoppers in inches. The correlation between the two shows that the closer the height of the recruit means the tighter points on the scatter plot. The coefficient of the deviation is expressed as a percentage and is the measure of distance of data points around the mean. The standard deviation for Army recruits is averaged to be about 4 inches, with the idea that the recruits are all male. The other standard deviation is in a setting of the mall with a more diverse crowd and larger. And here you can see a little bit better that the points here, and you can see the points here that are elevated and declined for inches. First of all, to join the military, you have to be at least age 18 or older. So the factor already will tell you that these subjects being measured for height are an average grown height. The other factor taken in is that the measured heights may be all male or all female. With all military experience, with my military experience, I didn't have females mixed into my training as a recruit. So in the event that the data collected is from all males, they will be at an average of 5 feet 9 inches, or almost 6 feet. The data for the Army will be tighter due to the fact that they may be males at a stage of growth for the age of 18. Mall shoppers is a little bit of a different story. It's a different setting, different crowd, more diverse, and it has a population of anything from infants to children to teenagers and grown adults, all different sex. So the spread of the data is more loose amongst the mall shopper trend line. That means that the average difference of the shopper's height is at 14 inches and or over a foot. And here you can see down here that we took the information and plugged it into a scatter plot scale with smooth lines. So that's another way to look at it in perspective. And here we are. This is the sleep patterns for the 217 Duke University scholars, broken up into numbers of hours of sleep. The mean is set at 6.7, and the standard is at 2.03. And if you look on the scale that we put down below, it looks like that most of the college students get anywhere from 34.1% to 34.1%. So most of them got sleep between 6 and 8. I'd say 6 and 8. The arch represents the mean, or the average amount received. The arch is at 6.7 hours. At a standard deviation, it allows up to 2.3 hours fluctuation in that time. I average about 8 hours of sleep at night. I fall into the sleep deviation. My Z-score fell between 6.7 and 8.73. And then finally, we're here to my favorite, the flamethrower business profit. Okay, so this guy started out with 0 sales, okay? Nada. As a matter of fact, he was already in the hole for $12,000. $12,000, that's what people make in, yeah, in quite a bit of some time. So he's my hero. He's entrepreneur and all that good stuff. So he had to invest his own money to get the company started. So the y-intercept represents his output, right? The bottom dollar, having sold 100 flamethrowers, had him still in the negative around $69,000, $69,880 to be exact. And then on the graph here, you'll see that I also have it to where it's breaking even, where he literally came out of debt, I guess. He had sales at 220, and that brought his profits from the negative to the positive of $24,660.80. And as you can see, I put a star on the graph to show that at 5,000 and then at 25,000. And on the y-axis, I put the number of sales between 200 and 250 on the x-axis. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So you can see there where he hit his bottom dollar, where he broke even, and then where he came out on top. So he sold, excuse me, he sold in between 240 and 260 flamethrowers to make an estimated profit of $90,000. The financial roller coaster of starting a business can either start off good or bad. Good, you being already having the funds and personnel to get the business started. And let's say things go well and you make a profit and become successful. That bad could be that you have thought of an idea and did not have the funds to get it started. You could go to the bank, take out a loan, have to go half on half, splitting a business with another investor. The business doesn't take flight. Then you go in the negative and try to bail out, and you just completely fail in your pursuit of your dreams. One minute, things can be slow for you starting off and may have to use your own funds to stay afloat. And in given time, your business picks up and you could become successful. And then you could lose trend or go bankrupt. That's my thoughts of roller coaster. Overall, this report was a big challenge. I've never used Excel before. Excel's awesome. It's like number 10 in my book, scale 1 to 10. There's still a lot to learn with it. I just enjoy being able to learn, functions and how to correlate that with, problems, and it's just really neat. And I look forward to using it more. So thank you guys for watching my video. Thank you, Miss Benzie. You rock. We rock. And thank you guys.